Women in the Shahnameh, the story of Tahmineh. Tahmineh is the princess of Samangan, a province of present-day Afghanistan north of the Hindu Kush mountains. She is the wife of Rostam and the mother of the tragic hero Sohrab. In the Shahnameh, the story of Rostam and Sohrab begins when Rostam loses his horse Rakhsh. Distraught, he tracks him to the city of Samangan, where he is greeted by its sovereign, who assures him that Rakhsh is too well known not to be found soon, and invites Rostam to his palace for the night. The king of Samangan had a daughter called Tahmineh, who is said to be beautiful and as elegant as a cypress tree. Having heard about the legendary hero, she comes to his bedchamber that night and declares her love for him. An intriguing detail to notice in the paintings of this scene is the subtle iconography that highlights Tahmineh's audacious gesture as she stands on the threshold of a symbolic boundary to be crossed. Typically, an attendant is already inside Rostam's chamber and draws back the curtain to expose Tahmineh to Rostam and invite her in. The moment delineates the extent of her sacrifice for Rostam, that of the social acceptance that she is abandoning by stepping into Rostam's room, and her entry into the enemy realm of Iran, for which she is forsaking her Turanian homeland. When he sees her, Rostam is filled with amazement and asks who she is and what she wants in the middle of the night. "My name is Tahmineh," she said, "the daughter of the king of Samangan. On earth I have no equal among persons of royal birth. Indeed, beneath the dome of heaven there rarely exists anyone like me. Outside the veil, no one has ever beheld me, nor has anyone ever heard my voice. Though I am descended from a warrior clan, longing has torn my wretched life in two. Like a legend, I have heard the story of your heroic battles and your glory, of how you have no fear and face alone dragons and demons and the dark unknown, of how you sneak into Turan at night and prowl the borders to provoke a fight, of how when warriors see your mace they quail and feel their lion hearts within them fail. I bit my lip to hear such talk, and knew I longed to see you, to catch sight of you, to glimpse your martial chest and mighty face, and now God brings you to this lowly place. If you desire me, I am yours, and none shall see or hear of me from this day on." Upon hearing of her ardent desire, Rostam asks for a mobed, a Zoroastrian priest, to go to the king and ask for Tahmineh's hand on his behalf. Rostam and Tahmineh were married, but their time together was brief because once Rakhsh was found, Rostam left for his homeland of Iran. However, before he left, he took off his bejeweled armband and gave it to her. He told her that should fate grant them a daughter, she should bind it on her hair to secure good fortune, but if the stars send a son, she should bind it upon his arm in token of his father. 9 months later, Tahmineh gave birth to a son, who grew up to be a warrior like his father Rostam, and named him Sohrab. Now Rostam had not seen Princess Tahmineh for many years. As fate and the evil machinations of the Turanian king Afrasiab would have it, unbeknownst to them, father and son faced each other in the final Iran-Turan battle. However, Sohrab, knowing that his father was Iran's champion, was sure that Rostam would be there, but when he asked around for him, he was told that he was not. Although during their combat, when both marveled at the strength of the other, and Sohrab even suspected that it might be his father that he was facing, Rostam refused to identify himself. In their duel, Rostam was twice defeated by Sohrab, but then tricked the younger warrior into a third, and there fatally stabbed him. As he lay dying, Sohrab warned him that his death would be avenged by the greatest warrior, his father Rostam, whereupon Rostam discovers the bejeweled armband, and to his immeasurable despair, that Sohrab is his son. There are more depictions of the story of Tahmineh from the 15th century than later, but an unusual case is that of an unfinished folio that was left out of the famous Tahmineh's Shahnameh, and would have preceded the manuscript's folio of Rostam's anguish at killing his son. While this tragic and sorrowful scene of the bareheaded Rostam shredding his clothes and tearing at his hair is frequently illustrated, there are only a few of when Tahmineh receives the news of her son's death, described in heart-wrenching verses by Ferdowsi. She raised a cry of wail and woe, coiled her hair round her fingers, and plucked it out, and blood ran down her face. She strewed black dust upon her head, gnawed pieces from her arms, flung fire upon her head and scorched herself, and burned her musky tresses. "Where are you," she cried, "who was your mother's soul, but are now only dust and blood? Whom shall I clasp upon my bosom now? Who is there that will rid me of my grief? Whom shall I call upon to take your place? To whom impart my pain and misery?" So grievous were her moans and lamentations, that while all hearts ached, she fell a-swoon, fell as one falls dead upon the ground. She fetched his crown and wept over it. She took his robe and clasped it to her body like her son. She blackened the chamber doors, gave in to desolation, and assumed the weeds of woe all stained with blood. By day and night she lamented him with tears, and died broken-hearted in a year, and joined her warrior son. The story of Rostam and Sohrab is the most tragic episode of the Shahnameh. Its subject is profusely illustrated, and is one of the rarer instances where Persian miniature painting is visibly infused with human emotion through inconsolable grief.